right, joining us now to discuss this and issues across the pond, former UK MP George Galloway. All right, George, first, real quickly, can I get your comments on yesterday President Trump recognizing the Golan Heights as the territory of Israel?
Well, it's completely illegal, of course, and I don't expect even the most feeble satrapy of the United States empire to follow them down that road. It's clearly partial also because Mr. Trump's own son is involved in illegally harvesting Syrian oil from the Golan Heights. So, as always with Mr. Trump, there's a deal in it. It's incredibly incendiary, will further hatred of the United States across the Arab and Muslim world, and it's hard to see why any right-thinking person in the United States or anywhere else could possibly support it.
And I think a lot of people, I think you're right, that with Mike Pompeo across the pond now, well, I should say in that area in Lebanon today, I think he's going to have a tough time. Yeah. He's going to have a tough time in his meetings today in Lebanon. And so I want to move right along over now to Brexit. Everybody's talking about that right now. The surprise green light yesterday, if only for just a few more weeks, George. The EU granting Mrs. May a brief extension. Here's how she reacted to it.
There is now that different date of the 12th of April. I believe this is important. It gives us the opportunity, MPs next week, to look at the choices that clearly face them. We can leave with a deal in an orderly manner, have that extension to the 22nd of May, or if we don't get that deal through, if we don't get that vote through, then before the 12th of April we have to come forward with another plan, and if that plan means a further extension, it means standing in those European parliamentary elections.
All right, you heard her there, George. Is the choice for MPs then still Theresa May's deal or no deal by the 12th? Do they have time to come up with a different alternative like Jeremy Corbyn wants?
I doubt that because the government would need to propose it as legislation. The only reason May is giving them the opportunity in the week is so that her deal can be presented as a new proposal. You'll remember we discussed the Speaker ruled it out because it had already been presented twice before. So if she puts it in with a portfolio of other options, then she hopes that the Speaker will allow that to be voted on, which it definitely will. So if she gets her way, then we are there until May. If we don't agree with Mrs. May, we're out by April the 6th, because otherwise we would have to stay and participate in the European parliamentary elections, which, as you know, I'm personally hoping for,
yes,
but I doubt if it's going to happen.
Yes, you have a vested interest there, George. Now, let me ask you about that.
I do. Just like Kushner. I've got skin in this deal.
That's right. But now, speaking of those elections, was this a strategic move by the EU somehow to extend right up until the parliamentary elections to May 22nd?
Yes, they're hoping that in the end we'll tire of all this and just agree to stay on the basis that Hotel California simply cannot be left whenever you want to check out. You can never leave. So that's the game, yes. They did, though, back down because for the first time yesterday, they had to face, from their point of view, the real possibility that we would leave next Friday with no deal at all. And that's as disastrous for them as it is for us. So I still think this ball is in play. I still think Mrs. May's deal has a chance to go through next week, in which case we'll be out and we'll be able to stop talking about this at least on the 22nd of May.
At least for now. We'll see what the fallout looks like after that, if Brexit ever happens. Last thing before I let you go for the weekend, how do you think this weekend will look across France now that police are banning yellow vest demonstrations all over Paris, Nice, definitely not on the Champs-Elysees?
Well, you know, as I recall, the Bourbon King of France banned demonstrations back in 1789. And we know what happened next. The French people are not to be banned or excluded from their own streets or told that they cannot demonstrate against their own government. So I predict a very big failure, another one, for President Macron, who, by the way, was lecturing the British yesterday in Brussels about democracy, whilst his whole country is on fire every Saturday afternoon.
All right. We will leave that right there. George Galloway making great points as always. We'll see you next week, my friend. Have a great weekend.
God willing.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.